Raider Nation, what's going on? This is the Raiders Report. My name's Mitchell Renz. Let's hop right into some high-quality Raiders news. Well, Ryan Switzer, deuces to you, man. You're on the go, headed over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, earlier today was announced the Raiders have traded wide receiver Ryan Switzer to the Steelers, plus they're sending a 6th-round pick. The Raiders will receive a 2019 5th-round pick from the Steelers in exchange for the 2nd-round receiver from North Carolina. But after being passed by Seth Roberts and Griff Whalen on the depth chart, the Raiders decided, well, it was time to move on. Getting a 5th-round pick, though, for a player who wasn't expected to make the roster is a steal and a great move, in my opinion, for the Oakland Raiders. Raider Nation, what's going on? This is the Raiders Report. I have a little bit of a homework assignment for you guys because, well, school's back in session. I want you to tell one person to subscribe to the Raiders Report on YouTube and then hit me up on Twitter at MitchellRens365. Tell me who it is. I'll give him a shout out. Awesome. Now let's get into some more high-quality Raiders news. Next one, the Gruden. He's upset with the backup quarterbacks, and it's kind of understandable considering, well, they have not looked so good this preseason. After the Raiders' preseason game against the Packers, Gruden was asked if the Raiders currently have a backup quarterback on the roster. His response? I don't know. And I can just hear him saying it, and I freaking love that, right? So Connor Cook had another abysmal outing Friday, completing just 6 of 15 passes for 72 yards and an interception. He also had a sure pick 6 called back on a penalty. E.J. Manuel didn't help matters either, fumbling for the 3rd consecutive game. Gruden is clearly fed up with the performance of his backups behind Derek Carr, but wouldn't comment on the issue any further. The Raiders could sign another backup in the upcoming weeks. Next bit of news I got for you guys, the defense. Well, the defense, guys, is looking good AF. And speaking of looking good AF, shout out to Mizzen and Main because, well, the clothing I got on is provided by Mizzen and Main. And if you guys think that I'm a solid 6, I think I'm at least a 9 with Mizzen and Main on. So head over to Mizzen and Main, www.comfortable.af. Get some comfortable clothes for you guys yourself. Awesome. Now, back into that Raiders news. Sweet. The Raiders had another strong performance on defense, totaling 5 sacks against the Packers. The Raiders have totaled 11 sacks through the first 3 preseason games, which is tied for the 4th most in the NFL. Oakland's 11 sacks are the most of preseason since 2014, when Oakland recorded 12 through all 4 games. Raiders entered Friday's contest leading the league with 221 yards per game allowed and held the Packers to just 228. Now, yes, Aaron Rodgers didn't play. I get it. Still, though, they're averaging a league-best 223 yards per game in the preseason, which is pretty impressive. The Raiders' 6 points allowed isn't the fewest opponent has scored against the team in the preseason since the Rams totaled just 3 points in Week 1 of the 2015 preseason. Now, guys, one thing that I absolutely love that the Raiders are doing is they're getting after the quarterback this preseason, and it was an issue that we were really worried about entering the draft. So, over the last 4 years, this is how many sacks the Raiders had during the regular season. That's an average of 29 over the last 4 years. So, this show isn't just about me, though. I want to know what you guys have to say. How many sacks will the Raiders have in 2018? We talked about it a lot this offseason, and just imagine how good it's going to be with Khalil Mack. Fingers crossed that guy's coming back. So how many sacks will the Raiders have in 2018? Raider Nation, awesome for joining in this Raiders Report. My name's Mitchell Renz. Please follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. And remember your homework assignment. Subscribe to the Oakland Raiders Report on YouTube. Tell a friend, tell your mother, tell anybody that you want. Subscribe to the Oakland Raiders Report on YouTube. Now, if you're new to the show, I got a rumors scale for you guys that you guys need to understand, right? 0 Chucky Heads, tuck rule, tuck that. This rumor is not going to happen. 1 Chucky Head, small shred of truth. I like to think 25% chance. 2 Chucky Heads, people are talking, 50-50. 3 Chucky Heads, pretty likely, 75% chance. And then 4 Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. This rumor is 100% going to happen. So, send me into some rumors, please, there. The first one I got coming up, well, is Joseph going to be starting? Oh, boy. I'm going to give this one 3 Chucky Heads because I don't know if he is. So, The Athletic's Victor Ford believes that Raiders strong safety Karl Joseph won't start in 2018. Although the Raiders used the number 16 overall pick on Joseph just 2 seasons ago, the previous regime clearly thought much higher of him. He's often been used behind Gruden's favorite Eric Harris so far in camp. DeFore believes Oakland's coaching staff thinks Joseph is just too small and doesn't make enough plays. On top of that, DeFore reports the Raiders may take a look at new signee Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie at safety. Marcus Gilchrist is in line to start across from Harris, though, at this current juncture. The next rumor I got for you guys coming up on the board, are the Raiders going to re-sign NaVorro Bowman? This is a guy we talked about a lot this offseason. but I'm only going to give this one Chucky head, small shred of truth. So Bowman last year led the Raiders in tackles, guys. I get it, and he was a really, really good force for this defense. However, I think we can all agree, that right now Khalil Mack is the bigger priority for the Raiders, and he should be, right? So if they go out and they get a guy, re-sign a guy like Bowman, I don't know if I'd be ultimately confident that they're going to re-sign Khalil Mack. And let's not totally take away some credit from the Raiders linebackers this preseason. They've played really good, and I think that's the reason why, signing NaVorro Bowman, I just think is kind of unlikely right now. So NaVorro Bowman, unlikely to get signed because we got guys like Khalil Mack to worry about. Plus, the Raiders linebackers have been playing pretty good. The next rumor I got for you guys coming up on the board, it's about a running back, and this guy's been playing well, right? Chris Warren, RB2 on the depth chart. Now, I'm going to give this one only one Chucky head, pretty unlikely, but that's only right now. So let me just phrase that. It's only right now. So it's come in locked in that a guy like Doug Martin is right now the number 2 running back behind a guy like Marshawn Lynch. But look at right there on that screen. Warren's preseason numbers, 46 carries, 250 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's the most rushing yards by any running back this preseason. And, well, I don't know about you. I've watched Doug Martin. I'm not ultimately impressed that he's looked all that good this preseason. And maybe Jon Gruden's still watching tape from 4 years ago. But I'm watching the tape now, and Chris Warren is playing a lot better than Doug Martin. So, I want to know from you guys, though, who is the better running back right now for the Oakland Raiders? Is it Chris Warren? Give me a heart. Or if you think it's Doug Martin, give me a like. And if you think it's Doug Martin, hit me up on Twitter at MitchellRens365 so I can send you guys some glasses because it's clearly Chris Warren. Okay, the next rumor I got for you guys coming up on the board here. Are the Raiders going to trade Khalil Mack? And, well, I'll be honest, if that one makes you sweat as much as me, I need to hit you guys up with our sponsor, Miz and Main, because they're sponsoring the Raiders Report. Because their shirts, guys, I'm sweating so bad right now, and you can't tell because these shirts, they just soak it all up. So if you guys want to get some sweat-wicking technology on your body, head over to www.comfortable.af and tell Mitch sent you from the Raiders Report. Okay, let's get back into that rumor there, please, Elena. The next one I got coming in there, again, Khalil Mack. Two Chucky heads here. I don't think he's going to get – it's a 50-50 chance of him getting traded. So the issue here is in conversations around the league, the belief is the Raiders want to trade Mack. In fact, that rumor has made the rounds since the 2018 NFL Draft when it was said that Gruden wanted to hire his own personnel man. During that under-the-radar search for an executive, the idea was floated to trade Mack, reap the benefits of early draft picks, and plug the holes in a roster that Gruden feels is close with a guy like Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, and now with a reloaded offensive line. The Raiders believe this could be a time for them to add extra draft picks and be successful for many years down the road with Gruden. Now, I really want to emphasize this. We know that Gruden's going to be here for the long haul. Imagine if they traded Khalil Mack just to get extra draft picks. I mean, I love Mack, but maybe a whole bunch of first-rounders wouldn't be so bad either. Okay, speaking of first-rounders, what do the Raiders want for a guy like Mack? 2 first-round picks possibly for Mack? I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads, right? So, people are talking on this. In 4 seasons with the Raiders, Mack has 40.5 sacks. He did that despite only notching 4 in his first rookie season. So think about this. 36.5 sacks in 3 seasons, which is just absolutely dominant. The 3-time Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro has never been in trouble off the field and has never had an issue in the locker room. So you're trading for a 27-year-old with close to 0 bust factor as a possible in-game and who's also never had any injuries, okay? So what would the Raiders want for Mack in a trade? According to Mike Florio, the Raiders would want at least 2 first-round picks. The Oakland Raiders have remained receptive to trade offers for Mack, and at least 4 teams have turned basic inquiries into legitimate interest. Right now, though, it seems like the front-runner for Mack trade would be the New York Jets. So, guys, I want to know from you, if the Raiders traded Khalil Mack, what would you want in return? I want to know how many first-round picks. I want to know what you guys would want in return for Khalil Mack. If you guys want a Miz in a main shirt in return for Khalil Mack, let me know. Maybe I can hook you guys up with that as well. But what would the Raiders, or what should the Raiders get if they trade Khalil Mack? The last rumor I got for you guys coming up on the board here, of course, it's the Khalil Mack section, right? Khalil Mack going to the Lions. I'm giving this one 0 Chucky heads. Tuck rule, tuck that. Late Sunday night, a tweet from a Detroit radio personality set Lions and Raiders fans ablaze. So, Dan Leach tweeted this. Just heard from a Metro Detroit limo driver that he just picked up Raiders linebacker Khalil Mack and is going to meet with Lions GM Bob Quinn on Monday. So, stay tuned. Well, guys, I'm here to tell you that rumor is just bullshit. Like, don't buy it just because some guy said it. It's not true. He's just trying to get a retweet or a like. I don't blame him. Maybe he should get more Twitter followers like me, trying to get that blue check mark, humble brag there. But this rumor, don't believe it. Tuck rule, tuck that. My name's Mitchell Renz. Please follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. And remember your homework assignment. Subscribe to the Raiders Report on YouTube and tell somebody about it. I would definitely appreciate that. I'm going to see you guys on Monday. So if you need some extra Monday motivation, make sure you tune into the Raiders Report. Until then, go Raiders.